Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Evan and today I'm working on my Husqvarna 350 chainsaw. So in a recent video I made, I tried cutting down this really big tree that had been burnt up. I mean it had caught fire several times and I tried to cut that tree down, but my chainsaw was really acting up on me that day. And what I found was the sprocket on the inside that runs the chain had worn a groove way down inside of it, and that's really where probably most of my problem was coming from. So today I'm going to change out that sprocket. I think they call it the clutch drum assembly or something like that. So I've got a new sprocket to put in there. I also have a new bearing and I'm going to change that out. I've never done this before, so like most people, I got on YouTube and I searched up a couple videos, found out how easy it was to change out. So the part, I've got the part here. I was able to get this part, and this is actually a true Husqvarna part. I was able to get this for like 12 bucks delivered to the house. So this is really a pretty cheap fix to be able to get this chainsaw back up and running. So I think the big thing is that I gotta keep the engine cylinder. This is tied kind of to the engine cylinder, and I gotta keep that engine cylinder from being able to move, the drive shaft from being able to move there. So after watching a few videos, they basically said you could take the spark plug out, shove like a string or a rope inside of the cylinder, and that would keep the piston from being able to reach top dead center, and it wouldn't be able to keep spinning. So I'm gonna see if I can find me a piece of rope or string or something to shove down in the spark plug hole, and then we'll start taking off the old sprocket and putting on the new. All right, I didn't find any string, but I did find some weed eater string. I'm gonna see if that's enough. So I tied like a little knot in a piece of weed eater string. This may work, it may not. I just need to take up that space at the top. Well, there it goes. See, I can't spin it no more, it's hitting. So hopefully that works. All right. So now the big thing is that you just need to get a screwdriver on here and then unthread it. There we go. Spun right off. So this is reverse threaded. It came right off. All right. That thing is grooved terrible. So this one here is the sprocket that I just took off. And I don't know if you can see, but it actually has a groove, like a line, that's worn completely down where there's no tooth no more. And that's where that chainsaw, the back of the chainsaw would ride, and it just wore it all the way through. And then here's the new one. You can tell, I mean, they just look completely different. So we'll go ahead and get this one put on and get a new bearing put on. So I got fresh grease on the new bearing. Let's put our drum over there. Now, time to put our clutch back on. So remember, this was reverse threaded, so we just need to spin that on. So you just need to about put it on hand tight, because that actually tightens up as the chainsaw runs. It'll tighten that up. So the chain I had on the chainsaw was pretty well worn out, so I'm going to go ahead, I've got a new chain here, I'm going to put a new chain on today, but I'm going to go ahead and reuse the same bar. I think the bar is still in good shape, so let me get this bar cleaned up, and then we'll get it put back together. Oh man, it's a lot smoother, sounds a lot better. The other sprocket would catch all the time. So I've got the chainsaw all put back together, and that only took probably maybe 15-20 minutes to change that sprocket out. So I thought that went very well, and it was pretty cheap, 12 bucks. So this is a cheap and easy fix on the chainsaw. Now before, the chain, when you would try to roll it, it would always want to catch, and that was that worn down sprocket. I didn't realize what necessarily was going on, but now it moves all nice and smooth. So this ought to run better than it has in the last couple of years. So I'm ready to get out there and try this thing out. So I've got one more tree out there that that was burnt, that caught fire, and I'm gonna go try to cut that tree down with this chainsaw. Now I know the last tree that I did, it had charcoal on the outside, you know, from being burnt, and that charcoal does seem to dull the chain pretty fast. So we'll have to see how it goes. It may dull the chain, I may have to resharpen it, but I don't think I'll have any issues cutting that tree down today. But before we get out there, I got a couple new firewood tools for Christmas. So one of them was the Mingo marker. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, but it basically helps you cut all your firewood the right length. So you put a spray paint can in here, and it's one of those spray paint cans. It's like the ones that are made to point down and spray paint the ground. So you put one of those in there, and it's got this little geared wheel, and you roll that down your log that you're going to cut into firewood, and it puts a spray paint dot every 16 inches so that you cut all your firewood the same length. Now you can buy different wheels so that you can cut different lengths of firewood. It comes with a 16 inch. I may end up going up to the 18 inch for me. But the other thing that I ended up getting was this Fiskars. This is the X11 splitting axe. So I already have a full-size splitting axe from Fiskars, and that thing actually does a really good job. So this is like a smaller version. 17 inches long, you can one-hand it. Still big enough you could two-hand it. I think I could choke up on it. I could probably cut kindling with it. But I thought this would be a super handy axe to have. I could, you know, I might use it for kindling, but I could take it out in the woods when I cut down trees, and I could still like drive wedges with it if I wanted to. And it would just be a nice small size to be able to carry around in the woods with me. So that's a brand new axe. Hopefully I'll get out there, and when we start cutting firewood, we'll try this out as well. All right, let's go outside, see if we can cut that tree down. So the first thing I end up getting my chainsaw in is there's a bunch of wire right there. I'd say I dulled the chain right off the bat. So this was the other burnt tree that I cut down the other day. I'm going to go ahead and take this piece of wood off and get it flat. So this was the tree I cut down the other day, and you can see this tree was huge. 67 inches, that's 5 foot 7 inches across. That's a good sized tree. So the tree I cut down today, you can see that it was right at 4 feet. That's 48 inches exactly. So that's a big tree too. So the chainsaw is running better than it has in a while. It didn't have any issues cutting through that tree. It cut really good today. Now those trees were huge trees that we've been working on these last few days. And I wouldn't have imagined that one we cut down a week ago, I wouldn't have imagined that one was 5.5 feet in diameter. That thing was a huge tree. It's probably pretty good, that it actually had burnt 3 or 4 times and it had half of the tree was gone already, or else I would have never been able to cut it all up with that 18-inch saw. So you can see that this was quite a job for that size of chainsaw, and you can see why I want to get a bigger one in the future. But anyway, now that we've got this tree on the ground here, I'll just need to get it picked up and put over on the brush pile, and then hopefully here in the next week or two we'll come back, get that brush pile burned up. And now that the chainsaw's running, I can start going back out in the woods and seeing if I can start collecting next year's firewood. So anyway guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Oh my God, I just cut my hand open with it. Try to put it back in the sheath. Isn't that crazy? I just cut my hand open with that axe. Isn't that crazy? Look at that. That's how sharp that thing is. That's a really bad spot too, right on your palm.